guys, it is that Panda again. I'm here again with another video, and today we are looking at Peter. And I will say right now that I do not have the best thoughts on Peter. I used to have pretty good idea, just thoughts on how good Peter was. But after he got nerfed, my ideas on him or just thoughts on him started to slowly deteriorate, and now I just do not like Peter. I think that he is a bad investment, early game, late game, whatever it might be. He just has so little use compared to all these other heroes, and I'll kind of talk about him as I go through. So first, I'm just going to start off by talking about his talent build. So this probably isn't the most optimal talent build, by the way. I probably see, I don't know if I have one. So instead of this going up here, by the way, I probably just put into here and maybe invest more into my attack tree. But to start off, I just wanted to say that his talent build just starts off being pretty iffy, right? I personally think that attack talent build is one of the worst talent builds. I don't think that it's, a terrible, but I just don't think that it is like good compared to other ones, be it like skill build or support build. There's just very little rage to be kind of had here, and I kind of use Lee as an example. If you look at the talent build, although I would say support obviously isn't the best talent build the whole game has, I think that some builds like this, or where you're gaining 90 rage after a skill, or just any of his other builds here are just more useful for me personally with how I use him compared to Peter. Because first off, Peter's first skill has just really low damage in general, compared to any other hero. And he used to be good, like I said, before he was nerfed, because he actually had an AoE similar to Lee or even Lewis, like Lewis pre-awakened. But he had an AoE attack, which made him so much more useful. And he was good on the field and just all that stuff. But now he's just not very useful. Even if he's considered a siege hero, he has very little use on siege. His damage factor is just low. He isn't really like skill specified to be a master set class siege hero or anything. So in general, he's just really falls off. You look at his second skill, increases squad capacity by 12% and rally capacity by 12%. This is probably a pretty good skill if you consider siege. I think being able to send extra troops in a march can be huge, as well as just rally capacity. You're able to send more troops into a rally. If your rally capacity is 2 million, that could rise by 12%. Whatever, you guys get the point. I think that this skill is pretty solid, honestly. And there's his third skill. If 2 or more troop types are in one squad, increase the squad attack by 24%. And I'll kind of show you guys for anybody who doesn't understand how that works. And I actually have my freaking marches out, but here I can go to Arena Doom and show you guys. So let's say that I am using Lee, right? Or let's say I'm using Lee to lead Lewis, right? So in general, Lee has a similar skill to Peter, where it does that 2 or more troop types thing. So what I would do is I would send 100 of these troops, and just to have this thing activated, boom, I would send this march and I would attack. That's basically how it works for anybody who was wondering. And let me go back to Peter. So basically that's what you would do with Peter, so you could trigger that kind of extra attack. And there's his last skill, which increases squad defense by 15% as during siege, and also increases damage dealt to lookout towers by 30%. The thing is, this skill is whatever to me, and I will say in general that Peter's skills aren't, I wouldn't call them bad, but there's, like I said, there's first off his skill damage very low. Already makes him a non-optimal person if you're going to be, maybe rallying or something, I don't know, or even sieging with him. There's a second one. This one's alright, but I just don't find it having a lot of like stat purposes, and I actually prefer to have a hero that gives me a bunch of stats over increasing the rally capacity by 12%. And I don't know, man. I just feel that Peter has no use, right? He's not super compared to Hank, right? Where Hank is extremely specific for siege. He's super amazing at siege, and of course I still wouldn't recommend investing in Hank, and I just wouldn't recommend investing in Hank either. But compared to Peter, he has so much more use in the side of siege, whereas Peter is alright at siege, and then he's not good enough in that one area. And even if he was good enough in that one area, like let's say Hank, he doesn't have any use in the field or anything. And if you're a free to play or low spender, you don't want to invest in a hero that you're not going to be using super much unless it's for sieging specifically. And the thing is, since you have very little choices on heroes that you can like actually select and work on, you don't want to choose a hero that's specifically for siege anyways, because usually I would actually say that field heroes are the best. And even if I am to swarm a base, for example, I would honestly use the same heroes that I'd be using on the field. Let's say I use Lewis and Lee, I would probably hit a base with Lewis and Lee. And I mean, maybe my trades could have been better if I was using a siege hero, but I think that they do just more than enough. And then they also put up the numbers that I need on the field. So I do think that investing in heroes that you're going to be using in more versatile spots, like they have more uses. Like for example, like I said, maybe Tom, he can defend, he can fight on the field. I wouldn't mind using him to attack something, right? I think that that's a very versatile hero, and he just has more uses all around. Whereas Peter he's not good at siege, and he's not good on the field, right? He's good enough at siege, and he drops off on the field. He has no use on the field, right? Like I would use any other hero over Peter probably for the most case, over like Hank or something. But yeah, you guys get my point. I don't think that he's a good investment. I don't actually think that Peter is terrible. I just think that in comparison to the choices that you have and all of that, he's just not worth the investment that you would put into him. So do try to consider that when picking Peter. So I do thank you guys for watching, and I hope this video made any sense at all, and you guys have an amazing day or night, and peace out.